The wind had a sharp edge that morning, the kind that brushed across the skin like a warning that winter had not yet surrendered. The sun hung pale above the quiet park in Boise, Idaho, where the grass was still damp from last night's frost. The trees were bare, their branches scratching the air like skeletal fingers. It wasn't a busy hour, just a few morning joggers, a couple walking their dog, and scattered people enjoying the cold calm of the day. Among them was Maya Thompson, a 23-year-old art student whose curly auburn hair bounced beneath her knitted beanie as she crossed the park path. She had always loved mornings like this, when the silence felt like a blank canvas waiting to be painted. Her backpack held her sketchbook, charcoal pencils, and a flask of coffee that still radiated warmth through the fabric. Life had not been easy for Maya lately. Her part-time job hours had been cut, rent was piling up, and she had been struggling with the pressure of upcoming final projects. Still, she tried to find small pockets of peace, places where she could breathe without feeling the weight of everything she carried. That park was one of those places. She walked along the path, admiring the way the fog clung low to the ground, softening everything it touched. She was halfway across the clearing when her foot caught on something, a root or maybe a small rock, and before she could react, she stumbled. Her sketchbook slipped from her grip, and her body hit the cold ground with a crash that echoed louder in her mind than in the air. Her elbow stung, her knees throbbed, and embarrassment shot through her chest like wildfire. Seriously, she muttered under her breath, trying to sit up, frustration tightening her face. That's when she heard footsteps hurrying toward her, firm, steady, and purposeful. A young man knelt beside her, dressed in faded jeans, a patterned winter jacket, and boots that had clearly walked many miles. His backpack was strapped securely, and a camera hung around his neck. His expression was a mixture of concern and calm strength. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked gently. Maya hesitated, brushing dirt from her palms. "Yeah, I just fell," she said, trying to laugh it off though her voice trembled a little. He didn't push. He didn't judge. He simply extended his hand. A warm, steady hand. "Here," he said. "Let me help you up." Maya blinked, surprised not at the offer, but at the sincerity in his voice. She looked at his hand. Broad, warm, and steady, and slowly reached for it. When she placed her palm in his, it felt like an anchor in a moment when everything else felt scattered. He pulled her gently, adjusting his stance so that she wouldn't slip again. With a small yelp and a laugh, she found herself back on her feet. "You okay?" he asked again, this time with a small smile. Maya felt the heat rise to her cheeks despite the cold. "Yeah, thanks. I didn't expect gravity to attack me this early in the day." He chuckled. "Gravity is dramatic like that." She noticed his accent. American, casual, friendly. His eyes were warm brown with kindness etched in the corners, the kind that came not from age, but from empathy. Before she could speak again, he bent down and picked up her fallen sketchbook and flask, wiping the dirt off the cover. He handed them to her like fragile treasure. "Are these yours?" "Yes," she said softly. "Thank you for everything." He shrugged modestly. "I just helped you up. Anyone would have." But Maya knew the truth. Not everyone does. Not everyone stops. Not everyone cares. "So," he continued, "I'm Noah, by the way." "Noah Reyes." "Maya," she replied. "Maya Thompson. Nice to meet you, Maya who survived the fall." She laughed, the tension breaking like ice melting under sunlight. They stood there for a moment, the cold wind brushing past them, the world still quiet around them. Star a chance that felt like fate. "What brings you out this early?" Noah asked as they walked slowly along the path. "Drawing," Maya answered, lifting her sketchbook. "I come here to clear my head, especially when I'm stressed." He nodded. "Same here. Except I take photos instead of draw. I capture whatever feels real." He lifted his camera slightly, its brown leather strap swinging with the motion. "That's amazing," Maya said sincerely. "Photography is its own kind of storytelling." "Exactly," he smiled. "You get it." Their steps aligned naturally, the way two strangers sometimes walk without realizing they're in sync. "So, art student?" he asked. Yeah, Boise State. Finals are coming up, and my brain is about to explode. Relatable, he joked. I graduated last year. I remember that chaos. They walked a little further, talking about art, creativity, the struggle of living alone, odd jobs, and the little joys that still made days brighter, like the smell of coffee, warm sunlight after days of gray, and random acts of kindness from strangers. Maya felt something lighten inside her. Not love, not attraction, just a simple warmth. The warmth of being understood. Star a moment that changed more than a fall. When they reached a wooden bench near the lake, Noel pointed. Want to sit for a moment? You took a pretty hard fall. Maya hesitated only briefly before nodding. Her knees still ached, and truthfully, she wasn't ready for this conversation to end. They sat side by side, eyes drifting over the soft mist hovering above the lake. After a few minutes, Noah pulled out his camera and turned it toward her. Can I take your picture? Maya's eyes widened. What? Me? Why? He shrugged. You fell, you got up, and now you're smiling. It's a moment worth capturing. She wanted to refuse, but the way he said it, soft, respectful, not demanding, made her heart soften. Okay, she said finally, brushing a curl behind her ear. He lifted the camera, and Maya sat naturally, looking out at the lake. Click. He lowered the lens slightly. You don't have to pose. Just be you. She turned her face slightly, her eyes drifting into the distance. Click. After a few more shots, Noah lowered the camera and smiled. You have the kind of expression that tells a story. Maya laughed bashfully. I probably look like someone who tripped 5 minutes ago. No, he said softly. You look strong. Her smile faded into something deeper, something grateful. Star kindness that ripples. They stayed there for nearly an hour, talking freely as though they'd known each other longer than a morning. But eventually, it was time to leave. Maya stood, pulling her backpack over her shoulder. Thank you again, she said, her voice warm. Not just for helping me up, but for staying. Noah gave her a small wave. Take care, Maya, and watch out for sneaky tree roots next time. She rolled her eyes with a smile. I will. As she walked away, she felt lighter, not because she hadn't fallen, but because someone had helped her rise. Star days turned into weeks. Maya didn't expect to see him again. But a week later, as she sat on the same bench, sketching the lake, she heard a familiar voice. I'm keeping an eye out for tree roots today, don't worry. She turned, and there he was, camera slung around his shoulder, grinning. Maya couldn't hide the smile stretching across her face. You again. Miss me? Maybe, she teased. From that day onward, they bumped into each other more often, sometimes by accident, sometimes by intention wrapped in denial. They talked, laughed, shared art, exchanged coffee, and slowly built a bond that felt effortless. Not romance, not commitment, just connection. A connection born from kindness. Star a kindness that saves. One particularly cold morning, Maya's stress overflowed. Her art project deadline was in 2 days, her landlord was asking for rent she didn't have, and she felt herself collapsing under the weight of everything. She sat on the bench, tears quietly slipping down her face. She tried to hide them, but her breath trembled. And that's when Noah appeared again. He didn't ask what happened right away. He just sat beside her. Silent, present, grounding. After a moment, he said softly, Want to talk about it? Her voice cracked. I feel like everything is falling apart. Noah didn't try to fix everything. He didn't pretend to have answers. He simply placed his hand gently over hers. You don't have to carry everything alone, he whispered. And she broke. Not into pieces, but into honesty. She told him about school, money, pressure, fear, exhaustion. And he listened, truly listened. When she finally finished, Noah looked at her with a steady, sincere expression. Maya, do you remember the first day we met? She nodded. You fell, and I helped you up. But you got up because you're strong, not because of me. She swallowed hard. That strength. You still have it, even now. You just forgot for a moment. His words didn't erase her problems, but they lit something inside her. Hope. Dash dash dash. Star the photo that told a story. The next day, Noah showed up with a printed picture, the one he took the morning she fell. He handed it to her. This, he said, is you. Getting up, even when it hurts. Maya held the photo, tears gathering again, but this time, they were soft, grateful tears. This picture, she whispered, it means more than you know. It's yours, he said. A reminder that kindness exists. And so does resilience. For a long moment, she simply looked at him. Not with affection. Not with dependency. But with recognition. Recognition of someone who had been exactly what she needed. A hand. A listener. A reminder that she wasn't alone.